Hello everybody, it's John from Hillbilly Wine 101, and tonight I'm going to review Cook's Champagne. I just reviewed it a second ago and I screwed up the camera, so we're going to have to do it again. It came with a screw cap. The bigger bottles may come with maybe a plastic cork. I'm sure they do. I don't know. This is a small one. I'm not going to drink a big bottle, and it's hard to store, champagne and keep the carbonation, the bubbles in there, so I bought the little one. It was $1.99. It's a cheap champagne. This is small, but the big one isn't expensive. It's made in California. It was first made in 1859, Cook's, and it's the first American champagne. 11.5% ABV. This is made the tank method, and the tank method is they make wine. Okay, this is wine, and then that's the first distillation. They take the grapes, they add the if they add sugar sometimes, or they don't add sugar, they add the yeast. They get wine, right? The byproduct of the yeast, the bacteria. They put the yeast in. It eats the sugar that's in the grapes, or if they've added any sugar to go along with it, and the byproduct is alcohol, which is always saved, and carbon dioxide, which usually dissipates. Then after they do that, they blend it. They take other wines from other tanks and blend it to get the profile they want. That blended wine a lot of times is called a cuvee. It's just a blend. Then they take that, they put it in another stainless steel tank. They add more sugar, and they add yeast again. And this time that tank traps the carbon dioxide. And then they bottle it. And even after that's finished, they test it, and this particular company adds even a little more sugar to get the profile that they look for. So that's another step that they do. It's a cheap way to do it. It's a cheaper way to do it. The traditional way to do it is where you make the wine, same way, and you might make the cuvee, the blend, to get the profile you want, and then you add more sugar and yeast after you bottle it. You put a cap on it. You let it ferment in the bottle. And when it's done fermenting, all the yeast dies after it eats the sugar and does its job. It dies. They turn the bottles upside down. That's called the lees. The dead yeast is called the lees, and it settles in the neck. They then freeze the neck, and they take the cap off. The pressure shoots out the lees, the frozen sediment. Then they add believe it or not, they add a sugary mix back in to fill that part. Champagne, the carbon dioxide makes it seem drier than it is. So really all champagne will add that sugar back in there a little bit. And then real champagne from the Champagne region of France is aged in the bottle with the lees. It's supposed to add extra flavor. It makes the bubbles a little finer. And I think regular champagne is aged, I want to say maybe 9 months minimum, maybe a year. I think vintage is up to 36 months, and then cuvee, which is a Spanish champagne, is a minimum of 9 months when it's made in the bottle, which it is made in the bottle. That's why it's such a good deal, and the price is always great for Spanish sparkling wine or cuvee. And I think a Grand Reserve is aged 30 months. This isn't aged at all. It's just put in that steel tank, and it does not age in the bottle. So I'd opened it already. Sorry about that. I screwed up. But anyway, we'll do it again. Cook's Champagne. And there was a battle of whether or not you can use the champagne name. It's not going to get into it here. The reason the Spanish don't call it that is because generally it's the French sued, and they wanted it, if it wasn't made in the Champagne region of France, they didn't want to call it champagne. Prosecco is what the Italians call it. Cava is what the Spanish call it. Sparkling wine. I think the U.S. or maybe California or maybe the whole U.S. did have a legal battle. I know there was a legal battle with France and an international battle over whether or not they can call it champagne. The United States did win, and therefore this is labeled champagne. Okay, I'm not going to get into I don't know all legal. You don't know nothing about the legal part of it. So anyway, here it is. It's almost clear. Just the slightest bit of off color. I mean slight. All right. All right, the smell. I could smell it. This is Brut, by the way, and Brut is the driest of the champagnes. Okay, Brut is the bottom. It's supposed to be the driest. I could smell, but basically I could smell some sweetness on here. A little bit of floral. It's very weak. The smell. There's a little off-putting smell. Almost like I could smell maybe some light apple, and then like almost like a slight cheesy smell. Not supposed to be in there. It's very slight, but it is what it is. So let's give it a taste. Man, there's not a lot of taste. It's weak. It's got a little fizz to it. The slightest bit of like the smell of white flowers, the taste, because I'm smelling it kind of like a light flower. I could taste the sweetness even though it's a Brut. The slightest bit of apple, maybe pear, and I mean it's like very, very diluted. A weak smell, a weak taste. It's an inexpensive champagne. It's not to spit out, but it's nothing to, I mean it's just basically a fizzy Swedish drink. I don't know. It's the best way to describe it. It's not soda, but I don't know. It's not it's not great. If you're having something you're not into, it's fizzy, it's sweet. It says champagne on the label. Do what you want with that. So from Hillbilly Wine 101, cheers and thanks for watching. Appreciate it.